On today's episode of DAPA.DANIEL, this is going to take us through the cities of Gunter, Pottsboro, and kind of work our way all the way up to Lake Texoma. I'm starting this video at like 12:30, so you can also see kind of what the traffic looks like on a Monday. If you really want to get away from things, be on the west side of 289 out towards Pottsboro. Over on the right side is the North Texas Regional Airport. Now this is an interesting airport right here. Cuts back down and you see some more like actual civilization around here. So that makes sense. Howdy folks, welcome back to another video today. This is gonna be a driving tour. I had a comment left a few weeks ago from Wayne Low 665. Left a comment asking about the Lake Texoma area and how long it takes to essentially get from there, or from Frisco up to there, or there down to Frisco. So I'm actually gonna do that video today, that driving tour, but I'm gonna go north. I think he was asking more of like starting from up there and then driving south. At this area right here that we're starting at is on the north side of Celina. This is essentially where Preston Road kind of turns into 289 and turns more into a 1-lane road. And then on my right side heading south is where it turns into a 2-lane. On the left side is where it's kind of merges together and turns into a 1-lane. Hopefully at some point I'll be able to hop on this road, but this seems to be pretty busy right now. Trying to get over, so let's see here. Let's go, let's just go for it. Okay, all right, we're going for it. All right, and now we're headed north, and this is gonna take us through the cities of Gunter, Pottsboro, and kind of work our way all the way up to Lake Texoma. I'm gonna go to like literally the furthest point of Preston Road, but this is 289 now. You know, back then, this is what Celina, all of Celina was this 1-lane road, and even down into Prosper before they started kind of expanding things out a little bit further. So once you get a little bit further north into Celina, up into these areas of Gunter, you're gonna start having like these 1-lane roads, and then you'll sometimes see people kind of driving around with their boats down this road as well, because they're going up to Lake Texoma up here. The road, until we get like up into Pottsboro and Gunter, all the road right now is just kind of in bad shape, to be honest. I mean, it's drivable, but there's some points where it is kind of rough. And here is a train. Oh, so we timed this up. You also see train tracks on the left side, and there actually is a train coming through here right now, over on the left side that we're driving next to. So there is a train that kind of goes all the way through here and then runs even down all the way into Frisco. I didn't start this, Wayne, if you're watching this video, I'm sorry, I didn't do this video to Frisco. That just would have been too long for me to like deal with editing. From the point that I started at on that north side of Celina, it says that it should take about 40 minutes to drive to the furthest northern point of Preston Road. And that's kind of where that Lake Texoma development is going to be. If you're looking at that Margaritaville resort and that development coming, because I did make a video on that kind of talking about what's to come in the future over on this far north side of the border of Oklahoma and Texas, I would say that from Frisco to that point is going to be about an hour and 10 minutes. From Celina, it's probably going to be about 40 to 50 minutes. Gunter, it's probably going to be more like 35 to 40 minutes. And then once you're up into Pottsboro, you're probably just looking at like a 20-minute drive from that point. So we'll see how long this takes. I'm starting this video at like 12:30, so you can also see kind of what the traffic looks like on a Monday. I would say there's a decent amount of cars out here. I wouldn't say there's too many. Things flow pretty good from this point, just because once you get, you know, to this point of 289 where it kind of splits down into this 1-lane from Preston Road being a 2-lane, there's not a whole bunch of lights. You're really only going to run into a light at Gunter, and that's the next city that we're coming up to. Now, Gunter only has like a population of like 15,000 people, and I don't think Gunter is really going to start expanding a whole bunch. It's probably going to take another 10 years to start seeing more bigger developments go into Gunter, Texas, because I think what needs to happen first is the Dallas North Tollway needs to get built out a little bit more, because just now people are like, and I would just now as in like the past 2 to 3 years, people are more open to buying up into Celina because they have seen things get approved for the Dallas North Tollway getting built up through Celina Road. So that should start helping out the commutes, and that's a reason people didn't want to move to Prosper too, because, you know, that commute was a little bit further, but then they started building out the Dallas North Tollway up through Frisco, then more people started going further north. So that's going to be kind of the trend that you're going to see follow with these cities, because the Dallas North Tollway is essentially, and they have some plans out for the Dallas North Tollway. They want to take it all the way up to Oklahoma just about. So, and that could be in another 30 to 40. I mean, I might be dead by then, but we'll see. All right, and then you start seeing from this point, you kind of start seeing signs about Gunter, Texas, because we are in Gunter now. We just passed over the city limit, and then we get into like the small side of Gunter, Texas, where like the school is, the police department. The police department's really small, so this is definitely going to be a totally different vibe of what's going on around here than my typical videos, right? Like my typical videos are around, you know, master plan communities, things are getting built out, there's not a whole bunch of farmland that you usually see on my videos. So this is kind of the opposite side, where further out now, getting up into the Gunter and all these other places like Pottsboro, you're gonna see that it's not a whole bunch of stuff up here. There is like one big master plan community over here in Gunter, Texas, but for the most part, Gunter, Texas is still gonna have neighborhoods where you can build on like an acre or 2 acres of land, and then, you know, build maybe a second dwelling unit, or maybe like a little, like, not barn dominium, but like kind of like half warehouse workshop type of deal. So this is the light that you run into. At this point, this is Gunter's primary school. Over on this left side, they've got like a small little Gunter Center marketplace of some little shops, an ice cream shop, fresh local marketplace, donut and breakfast place, little State Farm agency, and then a small hole-in-the-wall Italian restaurant. So you can kind of see things are a little bit more, I'm not gonna say beat up, because things are just old, right? Like you're just looking at old houses. This is just a quieter sense of living. Now, that's probably going to change within the next 10 years, unfortunately, for Gunter. You know, back 20 years ago, people were moving up to Gunter because they wanted to get away from everything. And that's what people were doing with Celina, but that just kind of went the other direction, right? And now Celina's getting totally built out with stuff. And now you have families that have been living in Frisco and Prosper for a long time now that are trying to get even further out, and they're moving up into Pottsboro. Some of them are moving out to Oklahoma. So there's kind of like this flip of people coming in from, it's kind of funny, like people coming in from California and New Jersey and Oregon and all these, Florida, all these places I'm talking to, they're moving into Prosper. And then the families I'm talking to that have lived in Prosper for 15, 20 years, they're getting out of Prosper and they're going further north. So I think you're kind of seeing a migration of that go further north. So that's why I also talk to people when they're looking at Forney, Texas, they're looking at Rockwall, they're looking at Midlothian, they're looking at Argyle. You know, those places are great and all, you got the new construction, but nothing else is going further out. So I don't think you're gonna see as good of appreciation. That's gonna be on the scale of like Celina, Van Alstyne, Gunter, Texas, Weston, North McKinney, all these areas, because there's just so many more things that are gonna be going further north that are really good amenity places too. Over on the right side is Gunter High School. So that's kind of how this whole city is set up, is everything is right off 289. That's how the whole city's built right now. And then a little bit further out, if you go down these county roads, is where some of the other neighborhoods are. And like I said, not really master plan communities around here. There's one master plan community, but other than that, it's just going to be a bunch of just kind of larger lots with some like randomish builders here and there, kind of more of the mom and pop builders. Not really mom and pop, I just say mom and pop because they're just lower end. You're not going to really see the production builders from this point on. You're going to have like Mattamy and some of these other communities a little bit further south, but once you kind of get into this 1-lane road on 289 in Preston, it really just, you really just don't see any more production builders from this point. But I would imagine probably within the next 5 years, maybe someone like Perry Homes, Tradition, Coventry, Highland. I would imagine Highland is probably going to pop up something over in these areas, because they're up in Van Alstyne too. And going right down these county roads would actually take you out to Van Alstyne. Now that would probably take about 25 minutes because of just kind of the routes and kind of going in and out of these county roads. There's not like a straight shot right now because, you know, there's no infrastructure. There's also no lighting around here. So when you drive down these roads at night, it's very dark. And you also see some deer at times, which kind of reminds me back when I was a kid in Frisco, where we drive down Main Street and we'd see a whole bunch of deer and all that stuff. And I know that sounds crazy to people, but yeah, I mean, there actually was some wildlife. Nowadays, all you see with wildlife is people getting attacked from coyotes over in Frisco, Texas. That's the only wildlife I come across over there, is just raging coyotes. I think it was like 35 miles from the point that we started out at to get all the way up to this furthest point up into Preston. But yeah, just sit back, relax, enjoy this nice little driving tour today. I think also this is going to be pretty cool to look back on in like 20 years from now if someone's coming across this video, because 20 years from now I'll still be doing real estate and making videos. So I think it will be cool to like see, you know, going back on what this road looked like. I mean, I would love to have done this. I wish I had these ideas back when I was a kid, driving around Frisco, because that would be really cool to see for people right now to just get an idea. But I think it'll be kind of cool, you know, in 20 years from now, just to kind of see how Preston Road kind of develops out and how all this stuff kind of changes. Because this is where the first developments are going to start coming in, because this is the major road. This is the same thing that happened with Celina. This is the same thing that happened with Prosper. Like, if you go back and you look at the oldest communities that were built around Prosper, Celina, even Frisco, they were built off this 289 Preston Road. So that's what you can expect going into the future 20 years from now, is that a lot of these areas around here and off this road is what's going to be built. I also think that's what's going to give the best appreciation. So if like you're looking in Celina, I think the closer you can stay to Preston Road or Dallas North Tollway, where those are getting built off, I think the better those homes are going to appreciate in the long run. Because here's the other thing, is that yes, is there going to be more new construction over the next 10 years that comes to Celina, Texas? Sure. But I think there's going to be a point where those new construction places, those neighborhoods, are just going to be built a little bit further east and west of like these major roads. And I think buyers are going to make a compromise over being an older house, but it being closer to these Preston Road, Dallas North Tollway systems, rather than being a little bit further out and buying a new construction, and now your commute is, you know, an extra 15 to 20 minutes just to get onto these major roads. Because if you look at Celina right now, all the major, you know, master plan communities, Light Farms, Parks at Wilson Creek, Star Trail, like all those communities, they're built right off of these major highway systems. So I think in the future you'll see some buyers rather buy an older house off these, you know, major roads than buying a new construction house that's a little bit further out. So the other thing you might notice as we drive down is we're going to see horses, we're going to see cows. We also might see some roadkill here and there. I usually come across a raccoon or something when we're driving up these ways. This is the road that my family takes when we go up to Flowing Wells, because that's where our boat is. We have a boat on Lake Texoma. It's actually cheaper, believe it or not, to keep your boat on a slip in a wet storage than it is to be in dry storage in Celina or dry storage over at Lake Louisville. So the amount of time, and my dad looked at this, the amount of time it took basically to take the boat out of dry storage and put it out onto the slip was about the same amount of time it took to just drive straight up from our house up to Lake Texoma, just get in the boat and just not even have the headache of worrying about, you know, putting it out on the slip and waiting for people and that whole mess of things. Because you'd be surprised, there are a lot of people that have a lot of money and own really nice boats and have no idea how to maneuver a boat and back it into the water or taking it out of the water. It is kind of a sight to see. It's kind of fun to just sit on the dock and kind of watch that and see people fail with these like $1 million boats. And then also, as we drive down here, you'll kind of see some of these signs pop up here and there. Some of these signs are actually for sale signs, and you'll see like 2,000 acres for sale, 1,000 acres for sale. So there is some big chunks of land out for sale in these areas. These might get bought off to developers, but like I said, I don't think developers are quite ready to buy into these areas until some of these other major roads are kind of built out a little bit more. The previous light we went through, that was Dorchester. Dorchester, really small town, not a whole bunch of stuff going on with it. Really, Gunter and Pottsboro are going to be the towns up north of here. Also, you're going to have Denison, but that's just a little bit further out towards the east, up along 75 highway. But those are kind of the main cities right now where most of the, you know, whether it be a grocery store or some other small types of restaurants. Dorchester's really not going to have anything around that. I would say that more people like buying into Dorchester are kind of more on like the farm, agricultural side of things. But at the end of the day, we might start seeing, you know, some developer buy some land, or if not, they might have already bought some stuff and they have some things kind of in the works. Because it probably takes, I don't even know how, I mean, I would imagine it probably takes about 2 years to kind of, you know, from the time you buy the land to getting things approved from the city to actually start breaking ground, maybe 2 to 3 years on some of these developments. development. So like you could start seeing some things pop up in Gunter, Texas, bigger master plan communities, maybe by like 2027, 2028. That's kind of my guess with things. But then at that point, if I'm buying up into Gunter, I'd really just rather buy up into Pottsboro and buy something up along the lake and have that whole amenity there, rather than, because you're already this far out. I mean, what's another 20 minutes to go a little bit more north? I also like how this road has a shoulder to it. That's a little bit convenient too, because there's just like these random turn-ins. Sometimes people drive slow down this road, so they have expanded a little bit further out. They've also made it a little bit smoother further north up here, and they've gone in and kind of reworked the road. And you'll notice a change in the color of the road once we get a little bit further up, because they went back in and they repaved some things back last summer. And there's a random little mobile home neighborhood here over to the left. Not a whole bunch of the stuff there. Then we got some cows. I mean, we're gonna have a whole bunch of cows. It is really fun driving up this way towards the lake at times, because you do see some, you know, you just see a different side of life up here, rather than kind of all the whole concrete jungle that we live in down south of Celina into Frisco and those areas over in Plano. And Dorchester just kind of keeps running up through this area here. And then really the next city that we're going to come up into is going to be Pottsboro. Also, another major road coming up here is going to be Highway 56. This is the road that's going to run east to west. So this is one that you could, you know, take out to Denison, Texas. But this is going to be another major highway system up here. Another small town up along this area is South Maid. Population is going to be even less than that of Dorchester. So, I mean, we're looking at, you know, less than 10,000 people in most of these places. Not until you get to Pottsboro, there's a little bit more people. I don't know the exact population of Pottsboro, but I think there's a little bit more because there's just more of a city around that area. And that's the reason there's more people. You know, you might be like, well, why are there more people up in Pottsboro and those areas? And it's all because of the lake up there. So the lake brings a small little economy to it, and because of that, you have smaller businesses, and then you got people buying around that area. Sherman's also the other road that you could take, Highway 56, to then get on to then get out to Sherman in that area. I would say out of all the cities around here, probably Denison, Sherman are going to be the biggest ones with like the most people around that, and that's because those towns are off Highway 75. So if you want like more, if you really want to get away from things, be on the west side of 289 out towards Pottsboro, even further than that, out towards that side. I think there's going to be like a quieter sense of living over there. I think majority of the things that are going to be coming in the future are going to be built off 75 highway, and then kind of expand out from that when it comes to like Sherman and Denison over in those areas. So I think at the end of the day, there is going to be a quieter sense of living over on this west side of 289. There is a bridge that's built over here that goes over 56, and then there's a mobile home dealership. Would you call that is that a mobile home dealership? Is that what they call those? Kind of like not like a car dealership, but you know, a mobile home dealership. It also smells like skunk. Oh God. Wow. Not good. Not good. But I guess that's what starts happening when you get out this way, right? And then there are some like random cell towers and things like that. When we come up to the lake, we get pretty good cell service up here. I mean, maybe at times on like the regular FM, AM radio, you might get things cut out here and there, but usually cell service is not bad along here. And I don't know if you guys are noticing, but a lot of the signs around here are for sale. A lot of land up along these areas that people are just kind of putting signs out. And they probably won't sell this land for a good bit of time, but maybe in the future you'll start seeing some more land sales around this area and more things kind of getting developed up. Okay, this is, I guess, right now technically we're in the city of Sherman, but we're kind of like really on the outskirts of Sherman over in this area. Like main Sherman that you pass through is going to be up along 75. That's where all the other commercial things are built out. So this is like the quieter side of Sherman. Oh, there's the skunk. Okay, maybe that was the skunk that was smelling. Dead skunk on the road. A lot of green over in these parts, guys. Spring's just kind of hidden. We're getting some nice days. Usually all these trees are like all green, but everything's still kind of dead because of the winter right now. Yeah, this is Highway 82. This is the exit for Sherman in Whitesboro. At this point, when you get to this intersection at 82, there's a little bit more farmland with actual houses that are built up. I kind of like some of these houses in here are pretty cool because they're up on a hill and you get this nice view. And I'm sure you get this nice view of the land around here, but there's about 5 houses that are kind of along this way with some farmland over here with some cows in the front yard. All right, this is the exit to take out to Sherman. Or like the main city of Sherman, because we're kind of on that border. So you'll see a lot of people exit out this way because they're trying to get out to Sherman or on the 75 highway to get out to Oklahoma. You can't really take this road into Oklahoma. You kind of have to go through 75 up that way through Denison. Once we get up into Pottsboro, you're going to kind of see some things change. We're going to start seeing some grocery stores, some more actual neighborhoods around here, but there's kind of like this big gap. And that's the other thing. I think over the next 20 years, you're going to see a lot of developments get built from that north side of Celina up into Pottsboro. But the highway system's just got to kind of get a little bit better around here, I think, to make more people comfortable. And they also need to start bringing, I mean, that's not going to happen. Like, it's really Sherman that has like the big businesses that are going to bring a lot of jobs. I think that's the other component and the other part of the equation that needs to be added to all this for people to kind of be okay with buying up into these areas. But if you are trying to like retire and get away from things, I think being on like the west side of Pottsboro and finding a good piece of land or maybe a smaller piece of land so you don't have to like maintain it a whole bunch. Because that's the other thing, right? It's like, okay, if you're getting older and you're like retiring and you're winding down, like, do you really want to buy 3 acres of land and have to maintenance that? Probably not, but you might, or not. That might be you. You might be like, I'm retiring, I have nothing to do. My new hobby is going to be mowing lawn. I mean, unfortunately, my grandpa up in Wisconsin, 2 years ago, he just recently passed away, but he lived till like, I think he was 95, and his favorite, and he was living in a town up in Wisconsin like this size, like not a whole bunch of people. He was driving around at 95, you know, was completely clear-minded, had nothing wrong with them in the sense of just like kind of just being older, right, and kind of just, you know, wear and tear. And he was, I mean, his favorite thing was to mow lawn. And 2 years ago, we had to take the lawnmower away from him because he ran it into unfortunately, he ran the lawnmower into an apple tree and just scraped up the side of his face. And so at that point, we were like, yeah, probably shouldn't be mowing anymore. And then here's another thing I'll mention. Over on the right side is the North Texas Regional Airport. Now, this is an interesting airport right here. So, I only say it's interesting because I always think to myself, when I drive up into these areas, okay, like what's to come in the future? Like what is the future developments? You know, what could happen here and there? You could see this, I think, and I don't know why, but I just have more of a feeling that this airport, unless something's protected or things like that, I have a feeling that this airport here would be more likely to become a commercial airport than the airport over in McKinney. However, the airport in McKinney might happen a little bit quicker just because there's more people around those areas. But I feel like it would make more sense to make this into a commercial development. But it seems like it would make more sense for this to become a commercial airport airport rather than the one over at McKinney, because this one's just a little bit further north. So that's the other thing. But I know if that happened, like, everyone around these areas would be in a total tizzy about it. I mean, I would say that's a pretty major airport with the amount of planes that gets, you know, housed there and the amount of planes I see take off. I think there's, you know, more planes in that one than than just as many at the McKinney one. All right, we got more cows over to the left. Nothing's changed there. You don't really see a lot of longhorns over in these parts. You do see some longhorns over in Celina on those. Welcome to Pottsboro, Texas. And this is where I want to end up later on in my life with my family, owning a good piece of land over here on the north side. Maybe having like 2 little houses on one piece of land and living up into here, because I've also had it in my head, I'm like, maybe I should get my Oklahoma real estate license. And then I can be doing real estate all around Lake Texoma. I have these ideas. I just don't know yet. I just know that my 10-15 year plan is definitely being over up into this side of things and working real estate over on this side. I would like to get into more like lake properties, but that's kind of a niche market to get into, and it just takes some time. But I think at some point that'd be really cool to start doing. All right, so this is the intersection at Highway 120, and over to the right is actually going to be a Brookshire's, and then you've got some marinas that are down to the left, Flowing Wells. That's the marina that we keep our boat at. And then you got the grocery store over to the right. And then further down is like really into Pottsboro. In that area where some more houses are, it feels more like a town. And then once we get up into here, we now get up into Fink, which is like a smaller town, but it is gonna feel a little bit bigger than some of the like Dorchester and those areas, because you know, you're already gonna notice just on the outside of it is already some houses and developments that belong here. And then you still got some more land for sale up in here. But like I said, I'm gonna really just take this road all the way up into here, because I also think that this would just be a cool little thing to have. Cool little piece of history to kind of show over the next, you know, X amount of years. If you're coming back to this video in 20 years from now, well, you just got to see what, you know, everything used to look like. Okay, and then cuts back down and you see some more like actual civilization around here. So they got Napoli's little Italian restaurant, and you got some other just homes in here. Got an actual neighborhood over to the right. This is the Fountain Creek Estates over here, a little bit bigger homes. Majority of these homes are going to be pretty small. You got also a little horse farm over there. Got a church over on the right side. But yeah, this is like a pretty quiet side of living over here. My God, I'm just getting blasted by skunk smell today. This is a lot to take in. Let's see, 3.2 acres for sale over there. And some of this land is just gonna range. Like, you're gonna have acres in here for $200,000, and you're gonna have some acres in here, 50 acres of land for $4 million. So I mean, it's just like a huge range of stuff, but definitely way more land for sale over in these parts than, I mean, I guess in some parts you're starting to see more houses and new construction pop up, but you gotta be more into the Sherman-Denison side of things. Once you're over here, it's not, I mean, it's a lot more land and those types of signs for sale. All right, this here, going right, is the road that you would take out to that Margaritaville resort, and that's probably about another 15 to 20 minute drive from this point. But you turn right here at this light, and then that would take you up to, I think 89 is that other road that's over there, or 86. Can't quite remember that road that runs north to south over on that side that development's gonna be off of. But we're still going. We are still going north down a road. It is really just never ending. And there's also, of course, just boat storage and those types of things, because over on this side we are, like, I would say we're into lake life now. A lot of these people around here are gonna have boats. I'm actually surprised. We've seen, I guess, one boat travel down here. Usually I see, you know, at least 5 of someone driving down with their boat trailered. All right, Tanglewood on Lake Texoma. That's a little resort community. You got some of these other commercial developments out on this side. Up along this road, got a Dollar General. The other thing too to keep in mind is if you're buying on like 1 acre, 2 acres over in this part, you are going to be on septic, right? It's not, unless you're in like the neighborhoods that are more off the city sewer lines, you're probably going to be dealing with, or at least like about 99% of the homes that I come across over in these areas that are on 1 acre or something they're going to be on septic. But once we get up into the lake, you know, it starts actually getting into more developments. You got gas stations, other types of just, you know, a liquor shop, other smaller businesses right along this way. And this is all just because of the lake and the economy that comes with it and the people around here spending money. But I am going to try to take this up to the furthest point possible. And if you guys want to see more driving tours through like the back country of things, leave a comment. Let me know what highway systems or county roads you guys want me to drive through. Unless someone's coming in asking me specifically, I'm not just gonna go out and drive that, because that is pretty specific. But I know a lot of people do enjoy the driving tours and kind of seeing things. Okay. I mean, at some point it's gotta end, right? The road's gotta stop somewhere. I think I've only been up this far one time just to kind of come check out these areas. Don't drive up here too often. There's not really much of a reason to. But maybe one day there will be. Maybe in 20 years from now. Start seeing more communities and things getting built up here. You can buy new construction, like a pretty nice house on a good decent size of land, like on a good decent size lot for like $600,000 up here for, you know, pretty big home. And that's a little bit more south, like over into Pottsboro. Up into this way, you're not gonna, unless you're buying like a piece of land and building on it, you're not gonna really have that many new construction things around here. Definitely not like neighborhoods. We're almost getting there. Let's see, this is taking us about, okay, so my phone is saying that I've been recording for about 40 minutes, so there you go. About 40 minutes it's taken from like that north side of Celina up into this point here. So then from Frisco, just add another 25 minutes onto that, so you're probably looking at like an hour 5. Another little gas station. Got people driving around on ATVs. All right, and at this point here is kind of where it's gonna come to an end. We no longer have a shoulder off on the sides. The trees are a lot closer. And the only thing that freaks me out about driving down this area is just like the deer that kind of run out at random times. Lighthouse Resort and Marina. That's the other thing around here is there are going to be some like Lake Texoma resorts. I don't think they're like super popular, but I think some people come out here just to enjoy the lake and get away for some time. You got some houses. Oh, look, that house is for sale. That's new construction. I don't know if I'd want that house, but Guess that's an option there. I mean, really, guys, you could take this road all the way down to Dallas. Like, that's how crazy long this road is. Now, probably take like 2 hours, but it is doable. Lake Texoma Baptist Youth Camp. And then I can start to see just a little bit of the lake. It's kind of peeping its head out. All right. Got the golf cart man. Oh yeah, we're still driving. But at least the road is really smooth around here. This would be so fun to just rip a GTR through. Or like a really fast sports car. The Z. Oh, the Z would be so fun to rip through this. In these roads. All right. I mean, maybe we can actually drive all the way into the lake. Maybe it just goes straight into the lake here. It's over, I can see the lake kind of popping its head out over on the left side. I don't think it's popping up on camera though, but trust me, it's over there. We're now in like the peninsula part. Okay, no, it keeps going. I was about to say this is where it ends, but I guess it is. This is Sunset Road now. All right, so that's it. That is where I'm gonna end today's video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that driving tour of essentially going from the north side of Celina all the way up Preston Road 289 to about all the way into Lake Texoma. So we'll kind of see over the next 10 years, 20 years, how the road kind of starts developing out. Maybe I'll do another driving tour like that in like 5 years, 10 years from now on the channel. But until then, I'm not gonna see a whole bunch of stuff getting built off of 289 on this far north side. Maybe up more towards Lake Texoma just because you got the lake out here, but that is gonna do it for today's video. So if you guys are on a home search, if you are currently looking to buy in the Dallas market, North DFW, over in Pottsboro, maybe further up into Lake Texoma too, that's kind of where I'm starting to take more of my business as well. Please send me a text or give me a call. Would love to work with you and your family. Other than that, peace out, y'all, and take it easy as always. Thanks for checking out my channel and watching that video. I got more videos floating around here. If you're in the market to buy or sell real estate in the DFW area, contact me, Daniel, at the Home Expert Team. I will be happy to answer any of your questions. Besides that, bye.